Ever feel like AI is kind of like magic? Like,
What?
it's everywhere, shaping how we live and work. But honestly, who really gets how it all works? I mean, it's algorithms and data and stuff. It feels like rocket science sometimes, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But the truth is, understanding AI doesn't have to be, like, impossible.
Exactly.
Today, we're going to take a deep dive into something called Recursive PM.
Okay.
It's this AI learning model, and by understanding its parameters, we can kind of peek behind the curtain and see how AI actually learns and adapts and stuff.
I like that.
We found this research paper. It's called Recursive PM Dataset, Expanded Parameters for AI Research.
Catchy.
And honestly, it blew my mind a little. Like, these parameters, they're not just numbers and formulas. They tell a story about how AI thinks, you know?
I see what you mean.
And we're going to break it down. We're going to look at 5 key parameters: environmental complexity, task difficulty, bias, learning rate, and exploration rate.
Cool. Sounds good.
So let's start with environmental complexity. They call it the Environmental Complexity Index, ECI. It's basically how chaotic or unpredictable an AI's environment is.
Right.
So imagine a Roomba, those little robot vacuums.
Yeah.
They cruise around your living room. Pretty simple, right? Low ECI.
That makes sense.
Now picture a self-driving car in rush hour traffic.
Oh, wow, yeah.
That's high ECI. Tons of things happening, totally unpredictable. So what does this mean for AI performance? What do you think?
Well, in a nutshell, a more complex environment, a higher ECI, basically means the AI has a much harder job.
Right.
It has to process way more information, make decisions much faster.
So it's like more prone to making mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. It's more likely to slip up. And that can have, real-world consequences depending on what the AI is doing.
For sure. For sure. The research paper had this cybersecurity example that was kind of scary.
Oh, yeah.
It talked about how an AI designed to detect cyber attacks, right?
Mm.
Well, in a simple network, the AI could do pretty well.
Yeah.
But then they put it in this crazy, complex, multi-layered system, and the AI just couldn't keep up.
Yeah. It's like asking a security guard to watch one door and then suddenly they're responsible for a whole city.
Totally. So high ECI, tougher training ground for the AI,
For sure.
which leads us to our next parameter,
Yeah.
task difficulty,
Task difficulty score.
TDS.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right? Some things are just way harder to teach an AI than others. Like, think about teaching a dog a simple trick.
Sit. Stay.
Exactly. Compared to, teaching it to play chess.
Right.
Huge difference in difficulty.
Yeah.
But how do researchers actually measure this for AI?
Well, the TDS is a way for researchers to, put a number on how hard a task is for an AI.
Okay.
So they can kind of tailor the challenges they give the AI, making sure it's not overwhelmed.
I think
It's like a teacher giving their students problems that are just the right level of challenging,
Gotcha. So in the paper, they had these examples like imagine a robot just moving in a straight line.
Easy.
Super easy, low TDS.
Okay.
But then they make it navigate obstacles, way harder.
Much higher TDS.
Yeah. Or they talked about basic chatbots versus ones that can, have a real conversation.
Right.
So higher complexity, higher TDS. Makes sense to me.
It is intuitive, and it's super helpful because by, understanding the TDS, researchers can design AI that can actually learn effectively and achieve what it's supposed to do.
Makes total sense.
Right.
And it feels like this next parameter is super important for our listeners, in the real world.
Hmm?
We're talking about bias in AI.
Yeah.
I remember reading about this AI system designed to help with loan approvals.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember that one.
It ended up discriminating against entire neighborhoods.
That's right.
Turned out, the AI was accidentally focusing on irrelevant data.
Scary stuff.
Super scary. So how does the bias metric, or BM, help us tackle this?
Well, the BM is all about shining a light on bias in AI systems.
Okay.
It looks at the AI's decisions, its outputs, and it tries to spot any patterns that seem unfair.
Based on things like race or gender or...
Yeah, exactly. Things like race, gender, income, location, all those things that shouldn't matter, but sometimes sneak into the AI's decision-making.
Right. So it's not just about, identifying the bias. It's about actually doing something about it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Researchers are working on ways to, de-bias AI systems, but it's a tough challenge. The BM gives us a way to track progress to see if we're actually making things fairer.
I like that. It's like, imagine every AI system had to have a bias score right there on the label.
In transparency, I like.
Transparency. consumers could make informed decisions. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. What about this learning rate thing? I'm guessing it has something to do with how quickly an AI picks up new info.
Yeah, spot on. The learning rate, or LR, is all about how much the AI adjusts its understanding based on new data it gets.
Okay.
So high LR, it learns fast, like a cheetah.
Good beat.
But there's a catch. It can also overshoot the target, kind of like making impulsive decisions.
Oh, I see.
Low LR, it's more of a tortoise. It learns slower, more carefully.
So it's like finding the right balance.
Right, exactly. The best LR really depends on the job the AI is doing.
They mentioned in the paper how, like, for financial forecasting, a slower, more careful LR might be better.
Yeah. You don't want your AI making rash stock market decisions based on a blip in the data.
Makes sense. Okay, last but not least, exploration rate. This sounds like the AI's sense of adventure.
I like that. It kind of is. The exploration rate, or ER, is all about how much an AI explores new possibilities versus just sticking with what it already knows.
So high ER, it's like an explorer, trying new things, right?
Exactly. Willing to take risks, potentially make big discoveries.
But also maybe make mistakes along the way.
True, true.
Whereas a low ER, it's more like playing it safe, sticking to the familiar.
Exactly. And, like the other parameters, the ideal ER really depends on the task.
So for a self-driving car, you'd probably want a lower ER, right? You don't want it getting too adventurous on the highway.
Yeah, for sure. Safety first. But for an AI designed to, discover new scientific breakthroughs, maybe a higher ER is the way to go.
Wow, this has been a really cool deep dive. It's amazing to think that, we can actually break down AI into these parameters.
No, it makes it a lot less mysterious.
Totally. Like, we're not just talking about this magical black box anymore. We're starting to see the gears turning.
And that understanding is so important. It helps us ask the right questions about the AI that's all around us.
Like, is it learning in a way that's fair? Is it helping society or potentially causing harm?
Exactly. As AI becomes even more powerful, we need to keep these questions in mind.
I totally agree. You've given us all a lot to think about today. For our listeners, I definitely encourage you to check out that Recursive PEM research paper.
Yeah, it's a good one.
You might be surprised by what you discover about the future of AI.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to, dive deeper into the world of AI yourself.
It's an exciting world out there.
Until next time.
See ya.